Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Last time, we made our way through the Deku Palace and we found ourselves the monkey who has been kidnapped, only for him to tell us that he was trying to save the kidnapped Deku Princess in Woodfall Temple. The Dekus wouldn't listen and threw him in the jail, so now it is up to us to save the Deku Princess. And we were told about a secret little path in the Deku Palace that you easily get to Woodfall Temple. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're heading back inside the Deku Palace here and making our way towards our first dungeon of the game. So we want to go ahead, put on the Deku mask here, and it's just right over in these lily pad sections. We want to go to our right, and it's just right on this cliff. This is a little pathway we were told about. Read this sign. It says that this is the Woodfall shortcut for Deku scrubs only. How convenient. You're a Deku scrub. Don't mind if I do. So now we're on the top section here of the southern swamp. So now we can use these lily pads here, or flower pads. I mean, they kind of look the same, right? We can use these flowers here to go ahead and fly around and make our way over to Woodfall. But these stupid things, I want to be very careful because these enemies are a nuisance. This here is a dragonfly. As long as you stay away from its tail, it's no big danger. Problem is, though, they are a very hard enemy to kill. I say as I get that first try. Okay, well, point kind of contradicted there. They're kind of a hard enemy to kill with projectiles in the air because it's kind of hard to aim with them. At least for the projectile we have right now with our bubbles, it's not the easiest to hit them. As you've seen earlier, jumping out of one of these Deku flowers can kill one of those dragonflies in an instant, but they need to be directly above you for that to work. These dragonflies can easily knock us down below, and if we hit one of the ledges, then we have to go all the way back around through the Deku shortcut to come back up here, so we definitely don't want to fall. What is this? Got a mysterious owl over here that's just kind of staring at us. So I'm not sure what he's doing here, but I guess we'll be talking to him once we make it over to this ledge. Hoot, 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 hoot. This is a rare sight. You're a fairy child, correct? What business might you have in this poisoned swamp? If you dare not venture further, I shall pass no judgment. It is better that you hurry back to town. This swamp you are in has lost its guardian deity, but it was destined to fade anyway. Oh, and that destiny is not solely limited to the swamp. If you have the courage and determination to proceed in the face of destiny, then I shall teach you something useful. Before coming here, had you not seen any of those stone statues that bear close resemblance to me? I have placed those throughout the land to aid the one with the power to change the destiny of this land, whenever he may appear. If you have left proof of our encounter on any of those stone statues, then the song carved at my feet will certainly be of assistance. Remember it well, and play it whenever the need arises. From the first time you play this song, we shall become eternal friends, transcending time and place. That's an interesting thing you say there, so I guess we're going to go ahead and check the stone tablets. Notes are carved in the stone. These notes will make up a new song for us. May the soaring wings take flight. We have learned what is possibly one of the most useful songs in the game, the Song of Soaring. We have now learned the Song of Soaring. This melody swoops you up and sends you soaring to a stone bird statue in an instant. So, a couple things to note about this song here. Specifically, if you're playing the 3DS version of Majora's Mask, they actually moved the location of where you get the Song of Soaring. It is in fact in the very beginning of the southern swamp. For the most part, the owl's text here is the same in the 3DS version as what he does say in the N64 version, but the biggest difference now is that instead of going all the way through to the Deku Palace, learning yourself about this shortcut, going towards Woodfall Temple, now instead of doing all of that, you'll learn the Song of Soaring the moment you step foot into the Southern Swamp. A stone statue over there that bears close resemblance to me. I place those throughout this land to aid the one with the power to change destiny, whenever he may appear. You have spoken forth to any of my stone statues and thus spread their wings. Then, the song carved in the stone at my feet will certainly be of some assistance. Remember it well and play it whenever the need arises. Notes are carved in the stone. They're way easier to see in this version than the N64 version. So moving Song of Soaring here in the very beginning of the Southern Swamp, I thought was a really good move. This allows players to go ahead and warp back here immediately as soon as unlocking the area. And what's even better is that we don't need our sword to activate owl statues. So we're able to activate these things no matter we have a sword or not. And that was really helpful in the very beginning of this game, since we couldn't really do anything with our saving abilities due to Song of Time needing to be a thing, and we didn't have it. Whenever you play this song, we shall be reminded of our eternal friendship, transcends both time and space. So now we can just go ahead and check this owl statue, and now we have access to this location here, and we can go ahead and save our game. So now if we play the Song of Soaring, we can go ahead and sort of any of the locations we have visited already in Termina, which for now is just Clocktown, Milk Road, and Southern Swamp. So now we can go ahead and use Song of Soaring to go wherever we want. Another thing is that if you remember when we looked at the Japanese version very briefly of Majora's Mask, we shown off that the owl statues have no use in that version of the game. You cannot use them to save your progress. So until you got the Song of Soaring, you would think that this is just kind of a weird thing in the land of Termina. But in fact, these statues now have a purpose in the Japanese version. Remember that text that we read back in that version saying, "We become friends forever once we hit the statue"? This is what that text means. Now that we have hit these statues, we can go ahead and use the Song of Soaring to warp around, and now we can go ahead and go wherever we want as long as we activated these statues. So now with all the Song of Soaring out of the way, let's go ahead and continue forward here. So now we got a new song in hand. We're ready to go ahead and just continue further here and make our way into Woodfall itself. So now we are leaving the Southern Swamp and entering the Woodfall territory of the swamp. Man, does that moon look menacing here. It looks like it's going to come down any second, even though it's only day 2. Very menacing here. Want to go ahead and make our way over to the left in the beginning here, because in here's a treasure chest of 20 rupees. Now we can't carry any more money. I should probably do something about this full wallet soon, shouldn't I? Can't really do much with a full thing of money in an area that has no shops. I mean, what am I gonna buy in the swamp? There's nothing here. I mean, the only thing we were able to spend money on is the boat cruise. And at this point, we don't need the boat cruise because we can just use the lily pads to get around as Deku. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just take out those enemies. We'll learn their name here in a second, because that's not the only time we have to deal with them. But here we want to go ahead and kill these Deku Babas that are in our way. Deku Scrubs. There's so many Dekus, you cannot blame me for mixing these up, okay? This is gonna be one of those kind of recording days for me. I can feel it. We want to kill those Deku Scrubs in our way because they will spawn Deku Flowers for us to traverse on. Isn't this the Deku Scrub mark? I wonder if they worship here. Well, if we pull out our ocarina here, notice a little charm. We can go ahead and do something here, but if I go ahead and pull out my ocarina as human, well, here's the thing. We can play the Sonata of Awakening, but there's a catch. Humans can't practice the same rituals as Deku, so if we play Sonata of Awakening there as a Deku Scrub, something will happen. I'm not going to be doing that just yet because there's a couple other things I want to be doing here before we go ahead and use that. So here's a fairy. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this to heal up my health. I could put it in a bottle right now, but honestly, I'm not really wanting to. There's no real need to put it in a bottle for my sake. I have a lot of hearts, man. I don't need a fairy to revive me when I die. 6 hearts are plenty. Over here's another treasure chest. I'm gonna go ahead and open this. And inside, $5. I don't feel that bad about wasting 5 rupees because that's 5 rupees, man. It's not much. Here's a lily pad I want to go ahead and land on. And over here, here's one of those beetle enemies again, which is simply called a hiploops. These are hot-headed. They'll charge if you look in the eye. If it comes at you, assume the defensive position. Hey, it worked. But we gotta do more than just defend. We have to attack. 2 bubbles as a Deku will kill those things. But you can also use your spin to stun those things in general. It's weird for me to call it the official name because it's a weird enemy name. I just call them beetles. So, apologies if I don't use the official name for certain enemies, because honestly, some of their names are weird. Bad bats, man. Come on, they're keys. The bats in this are keys. They're not bad bats. Every other game, they're keys. Why are the keys here? I don't understand why they're not keys. You know what I do understand? This cutscene here. This means an important item. Inside the chest, a piece of heart. That's 3 pieces so far. 1 more and we'll get another heart container. So let's just go ahead now. And we could go back over to where the owl statue there was and go ahead and play our Sonata of Awakening. But instead, I'm actually going to be playing the Song of Soaring. We're going to be leaving here for the time being because I have a full wallet. I kind of want to empty it, so we're going back to Clocktown, and we're making preparations before we tackle our first dungeon here in the game. Went ahead and deposited my rupees here, so that makes 600 in the bank. That's pretty much all I really need to do in Clocktown, because we're good on all of our items so far. We have the max capacity of bombs, and then everything else we need, we can get back in the swamp. So now you may be wondering, why am I in Termina Field? Why is this a preparation for a dungeon? That doesn't make any sense. Well, there is a couple things we can actually do here. For starters, I want to go ahead and refill my magic up a bit, so that kind of helps. But over here, this boulder, I want to go ahead and blow it up. So for this, I'm actually going to be using the blast mask. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and equip, shield, blow it up, and drop down. Down here, we have ourselves these gossip stones, and these, they're special. Notice how these 2 on the left are small, the one on the far right here is small, but this one in front of Link is big. There's a reason why. If I go ahead and equip the ocarina and go into my Deku form, I can go ahead and play the song. Could just drag out that one A note. That's not what I meant, but makes the song a little different. Playing the Sonata of Awakening as a Deku scrub in front of these gossip stones will do something special. Notice how the big one now changed into a green stone. This is important. There are 4 grottos throughout Termina that all have gossip stones very similar to the ones in that pit. There's going to be different size ones per gossip stone pit, so you get the idea here. There are 4 different grottos we need to jump down to, play the Sonata Awakening as the Deku Scrub, and then we can go ahead and get a reward for it. Now you may be asking, why specifically the Deku Scrub for this? Well, here's the thing. If you know how to play songs correctly, and you try to play a song in front of one of these, not as a Deku right now, nothing happens. Okay, well, you know what? Who needs to play music? How this works is that these grottos here with the gossip stones, they react to dungeon songs. So, just some foreshadowing for the future here, we're going to get a song per dungeon we have to enter in the game. There are 4 dungeons in total for Majora's Mask. Each dungeon has a represented transformation that ties to the song. So, for this case, Woodfall ties to Deku Scrub. This is why the Sonata of Awakening will awaken these gossip stones. There are other transformations we have not gotten yet that we will be seeing in the future that will also have songs to unlock dungeons for the respectful areas, and then these songs can work here too. There is a song that will work as human, but that is not until much later into the game. That will be your final dungeon song you're going to learn. So, that's why we're doing this as a Deku Scrub, simply because this is the earliest time you can get this heart piece in the game. If you want to wait until later on when travel becomes a little easier with certain other transformations, and you also have a bigger song arsenal if you want to use different songs, you can do just that. I'm opting to do this now as a Deku Scrub simply just because I can get this heart piece now as early as possible, and we can enter our first dungeon in the game with a full set of heart containers completed, making 7 hearts in total. So, I personally like doing this now, but you don't have to do this right now if you don't want to. Now, here's also something. This treasure chest here, we need to plant a soft soil bean here. We need to plant one of our special beans here, and we can go ahead and sprout it up, right up a platform to get this chest. But I don't have a bottle of water on me right now, so instead, I'm going to do something called a seam walk. So I'm going to just walk up this tree in a very specific way. So I'm going to look here, hold down target. I'm just going to hold up and start walking up this tree as slowly as possible here. And if I do this correctly, I can just walk straight up the tree. No magic beans necessary. Although I'm kind of stuck on something, so I'm just going to finish it with a jump slash. There you go. So, what's in this chest, you may ask? 20 rupees. Not really that big of a deal. The reason why I did a seam walk there is simply just so I don't have to go out of my way to use a magic bean right now because I don't have any spring water. That's literally the only reason why I did that. I don't feel bad about doing that since we have the beans, and also does show off something pretty interesting. So now, put on our Deku mask and play the Sonata one more time. Doing so, this will be our 4th and final Gossip Stone to transform into the same color. If you transform all 4 of these Gossip Stones in these grottos throughout Termina into the same color, you will earn yourself a piece of heart, making our 4th container, and now we have a new heart. That's 7 hearts in total. So with that said, we are good to go now. We have ourselves a full set of 7 hearts, and we're well stocked to go ahead and take on our first dungeon in the game. So with that said, next time on Let's Play Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, we'll be entering our first dungeon in the game, Woodfall Temple. I'll see you guys next time.